If you have made it this far, you should have all of your parts completed. The next step for this is actually making your sheets. And so what I'm going to do is show you how to go about that. So when I go to File New, this is going to be the first time that I'm not going to use standard IPT. Instead, I'm going to use something called the LJHS title block template. And this is a template that I have made so that you can use this to include your parts, so all 13 of your parts. So when I hit create, it's going to take a little bit of time to load it up because it's loading prompted entry. And when it does finally load up, there's going to be a dialog box that you can type some information into. But just be patient because it does take some time the first time that you open it up. Or maybe it'll just crash the computer if we're lucky. Okay, so here we go. We have the prompted entry fields up. The title of this assignment is Inventor Practice. I guess technically it'll be part 1, so my bad, part 1. The designer will be your name, and the class hour is whatever class period you're in, so 5th, 6th, or 7th. So choose one of those, don't put all of them, and say OK. And it will load up your title block template. Okay, so here we go. So the project title, you can see that I've got part number 1, the class hour, if you're in 5th, 6th, or 7th, the designer's your name, and then the date. So February 12th. And then it's sheet 1 of 1. So all of that's been taken care of. You'll notice that the file name is missing because you haven't actually included any files yet, so it's not going to be here. So the next step is we're going to add a part, specifically the first part. And it wants to know if I'm going to save. I don't want to save it. I don't care. So I'm going to go to part number 1. I don't know what advanced is. Oh, whoa. Part number 1. And open that up. Alright, so orthographic projection, placing your front, your top, and your right side views. This is where you have to act as the designer and decide what is appropriate for your top, your front, and your right side. So this is specifically focusing on my front view, and you want to have as much information about the part in your front view as possible. And so to me, this looks pretty good, okay? And you can rotate your view cube around to see and change that if you need to. So I'm fine with this. My right side view goes to the right, and you can see that I can't move it anywhere else. It just goes to the right, to the left, up, and the isometric. So to the right is my view, and then my top is my view, and then my isometric goes here. And so you can see that it has created all of this. When I'm done moving things around, I can right click and say OK. My parts aren't completely on the sheet, which is fine. I can move them around, move them to where they're on the sheet and you can see them better. Move this one over. There we go. So these are my parts. I have my orthographic projection, so hopefully at this point you can appreciate the computer doing all the work for you. And then my isometric. Isometric, the 3D view, is always shaded, so if I hover over it you can see that I get this dotted red line, and if I double click the dotted red line it brings back up this drawing view dialog box. And what I want is for this view to be shaded, so I'm going to click on the shaded view, and not until I hit OK is it actually going to shade it. So when I hit OK, now it's shaded, so that looks good. The next step is making it look like my sheets. So tutorial videos, sheets. Okay, so I need to add in all my dimensions. So back over to Inventor. In order to do that, we need to use the Annotate tab. So I'm going to click on Annotate and click on Dimension. So the right side view is dedicated to the height. The front view is dedicated to the width. And my top view is dedicated to my depth. So you can see that it's a 2 by 2 by 2 square, just like you've been accustomed to seeing. The next step is I need to tell it where this peg is located. So it's 0.5 up. It's 0.5 over. And I need to know what the diameter of this hole is. Okay. You can see that it doesn't say all the way through or 0.5 or anything like that, so I'm going to add it using these tools. So right here where it says depth, I'm going to add in my depth symbol and make it say 0.5 and say OK. So now it's been added. There's actually another way to do this. You can click on hole and thread, and if I click on it, it will automatically add it as well. Either is fine. I really don't care. You just need to make sure that you have it included. So you can either just jump to hole and thread and say hole and thread, oh, that thing is a diameter of 1 inch at a depth of 0.5 inches, or you can manually just type it in whenever you add your dimension. So here's my depth tool right here. So either's fine with me. You just need to make sure you take care of it. You have to tell where this hole is located. So unfortunately I did it incorrectly, so here we go. So it's located 1 inch up and 1 inch from the left and right. So I'm going to have to actually bring this up here because it doesn't fit anywhere else. And then I have my peg, so I'm going to add this, line it up. That looks pretty good. I need to know what this peg is. Once again, it's going to be 0.5. I think I'm going to move it so it looks a little bit better. This makes me unhappy. I don't like the way this looks, so I'm going to move it. So 0.5 inches here to here, so it's easier to read and to see. And then my 0.5 at this section, so right click and say OK so I can move my dimensions around. That is also going to be 0.5, so there we go. Yes, so that looks acceptable. I do need to say that this is an inch, so I know where that goes. I do need to say that the width of this is an inch. So I'm going to move this 0.5 over again. Still not where I want it. I'm going to make this 1 inch as well. So I know, hopefully, everything that's required to recreate this part. So I have my heights. That looks good. I have my width with my pegs. I know where the pegs are located. So that's the point of dimensions, to give you size and location. So this is a size dimension. This is a location dimension. And then up here, the diameter is a size dimension, and this 1 inch and this 1 inch is a location dimension. So you have to have both of those to know the where and the how big of these parts. So that's how you make the sheet. After that, so once you've made your first sheet, you need to go back to Place View and click on the New Sheet button. And it'll be the same thing again, except this time it'll be Part 2. The designer will be your name, and then the class hour, 5th, 6th, or 7th, whatever. And you'll see that it's gone. Everything is gone now. Well, it's not really gone. It's actually over here in this browser. You can switch back and forth between them. And so as you go through and you do this, they're all going to stack on this left-hand side. So they're just going to stack as you continue to make your sheets. Once you've got all of your sheets made, you're going to go to File, Save As, and this time save it as Working Drawings. And hit the Save button, and it will save all of your drawings.